Former JMU Dukes running back Wayne Knight joining a bunch of his teammates out west. JMU Bruins? Let's talk about it next on Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. The college football playoff is here, and FanDuel is the best place to get in on the action all playoff long. So visit FanDuel.com to get your college football playoff profit boosts every game day. All right, JMU gets a quarterback incoming, and Marshall on, Wednesday, and App State on Thursday. Hang on, a couple of later ball games, or at least past my bedtime, when they will finish Texas State and Southern Miss, and Cajuns and ULM. We'll wait for another day to talk about that. Maybe just a quick recap on Friday morning. Anyway, JMU's Wayne Knight heading out west to join what is now 6 other JMU Dukes. Not a surprise that Bob Chesney is taking guys that he is familiar with and are talented. There is a size thing going on with Wayne, obviously. Listed at 5'6". He's stocky at 189 pounds. Finished the season with just under 1,400 yards. That includes the Sun Belt Championship game and the college football playoff game. 1,373, and obviously was good out of the backfield as well. Finished the regular season, my understanding is that there would be no math, but 1,051. So he's a top 5 in the Sun Belt rushing the football. He's a good addition to UCLA. That's a tough blow for JMU, but a lot of these guys were leaving anyways. JMU's DJ Barksdale, also kind of an undersized player at 5'7", 180. He was third team all Sun Belt. Wayne Knight, obviously, first team. He did start all 14 games, kind of the nickel slot defensive back, 36 tackles, couple of tackles for loss, 3, in fact, and a pair of interceptions. But he's 5'7", 180. All right, that may work in the Sun Belt. We'll see how it works in the Big Ten. But if he's covering slot guys, the slot guys generally aren't the 6'3", 6'4" kind of guys. They're the ones that are going to be that 5'10", 5'11", maybe even smaller guys that are going to be there trying to get that third down, trying to get the first down on third down. So he may be in a good spot for that. So there is some talent, along with, by the way, Landon Ellis, JMU's leading receiver, with 36 receptions. That's not a lot. 624 yards is pretty good. He averaged more than 17 yards a catch and did have 5 touchdowns. He was the leading receiver. So you do have some experience going out there, but you also have some potential. Riley Robell, he is the experienced one on the offensive line. Played in 13 games this past year, started 11 of them at right guard. He was second team all Sun Belt. For those who may know or care or may not, he went to Bishop McDevitt, same high school as Shady McCoy. And to be honest with you, I only know that because I spent a year in Harrisburg and watched Shady McCoy play high school football. The two guys with the potential are J.D. Rayner, offensive lineman. He was redshirted as a true freshman. He only played in 1 ball game. And then you have Josh Pfeiffer, a redshirt sophomore tight end. In 2 seasons, he's got a grand total of 6 receptions and 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't know if you're bringing in a blocking tight end. All right, I'm a big throw it to the tight end guy. You know that. That's where I think the biggest mismatch usually is. Faster than the linebacker and bigger than the safety. And once you start getting the tight end over the middle, that opens up the running game. That opens up the crossing patterns. That opens up everything. And so we'll see if that is used. You also have Aiden Gobera, who defensive lineman, may get overshadowed a little bit, but had a solid year. He started his career at Notre Dame, made 1 start, played 14 games for JMU, 38 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, and 4 sacks. He gets overshadowed because of Trent Hendricks was your defensive player of the year on the same defense. And Sahir West was your freshman defensive player of the year and had 14 tackles for loss and I believe 7 sacks. So Gobera gets a little bit overlooked perchance. But that is all those guys so far heading out west. And I did a crossover episode with Zach from Locked On UCLA, Locked On Bruins, and they're waiting for Sahir West. That is the big guy to get. Obviously, he was fantastic this past season, and he's weighing his options. And obviously, with him, because he's not, a lot of times those edge rushers in college are small, and he's not. He is 6'3", 269 pounds. He is a good size, kid, I guess. I don't know if he's 20 years old yet. So he's a good size. And going up against Oregon in the college football playoff, he's going to have an idea of what that's like going up against the other Big Ten tackles. So he will be able to judge for himself what he has to do. Does he have to, improve the upper body strength, the lower body strength? Does he have to get quicker? All those things help out because he played in that one ball game against Oregon. So a lot of guys going out west. Easy to recruit for Bob Chesney. I know Alonzo Barnett III did not. I'm not sure. Bob is kind of tied into Nico because Nico wasn't going anywhere. I guess Bob could say, take care. And I don't know how you can pull. There's a whole thing with the Washington quarterback going on. Holy cow. He was staying. He was going. His agents dropping him. He's apparently staying as of this recording of the podcast. But, Nico signed a rather lucrative deal, right? He switched spots with Joey Aguilar, who had a pretty good season, although lost in the bowl game to Illinois. And he had a serious injury he was playing with that I think he had surgery on. But basically, it was kind of your first college football trade, whereas Joey had transferred to UCLA. Nico got the money to go to UCLA. That didn't work out for Deshaun Foster. Now Nico is signed to UCLA. He's sticking around. Obviously, you have to get the approval of Bob Chesney to do that, but he hasn't entered the portal. So Bob is sticking with Nico, whereas Alonzo went to UCF. So we shall see if this all works out. It is a ton of players leaving. I saw over 30 players, according to 24/7. Like 34 players have entered the portal from Georgia State. My goodness. Now, on the other side of things, they lead the Sun Belt, bringing in 16 players. And you still have some guys that are dipping their toes in the water. Now, remember, I guess officially it's a week. The portal has been open for a week now, and including some players that are playing for some playoff teams. I think some guys from Oregon and Miami entered it. I'm not exactly sure what their positions are on the team. Not all that familiar with that, but there are players going into it. I think one player I saw was not going to play. Was that from Oregon? I don't know. That he was done. One of the players from one of the teams was leaving. He was done with playoffs. He's like the first guy to bail on the playoffs. But anyways, Wayne Knight had a fantastic season, and he will join right now at least 6 others from JMU heading out to Westwood and play for Bob Chesney and the UCLA Bruins, or as in the case may be, the JMU Bruins. Remember, these guys aren't good enough to play in the P4. I don't know. It seems like UCLA is claiming a bunch of them, including the head coach. All right. All right, let's talk about some players that are incoming, including JMU getting a young and up-and-coming transfer from Memphis. We will do that right after I tell you about Rougier. Let's talk about something most men don't bring up, but absolutely should. Stress from work, money, life. It doesn't just switch off at night. And when it shows up at the worst possible time, Rougier Ready is designed to help you take back control. Rougier Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment created to support both the brain and the body so you can feel present, confident, and ready when the moment matters. The science behind Rouge Ready stands out. 3 clinically proven ingredients in one formula designed for both mental and physical readiness. You connect with a board-certified doctor online, and everything ships discreetly to your door. It's easy to understand why over 150,000 men have already made the switch. Most men are already in about 15 minutes on average, so you can stay present, confident, and in control when the moment is right. If you've been thinking about taking the next step, now's the time. Head to Rougiet.com/LockedOnCollege. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege to get 15% off your order for a limited time. Rougiet Ready. Feel present, feel confident, feel ready. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Okay. So, JMU, among others, and we're going to be using 24/7 in this case, was being considered by Arrington Maiden. All right. He was a freshman. He's got 3 years of eligibility left. That seems to be a fluid situation. 6'3", 225-pound, a quarterback. And he was considering staying at Memphis. Remember, this is Charles Huff. So he's considering staying at Memphis, going to Billy Napier, JMU, going to Temple, and North Texas. By the way, most of North Texas has now transferred to Oklahoma State, following their coach. And so Arrington Maiden out of College Station, Texas, goodness, hasn't played that much as you would think as a true freshman. Actually, not a true freshman, redshirt freshman. So he played it. He was there in 24, did not play, and he was there in 2025 at Memphis, 5 of 10, 59 yards. Rushing, did rush 13 times for 79 yards. Did rush 1 time in 2024. So he's played 2 years. So there are 3 more years left. So he was sought after, and that's who JMU has gotten out of the portal. I know that Billy Napier likes to have experienced quarterbacks. And so we'll see if he's the guy or is there somebody else in there. So this is what happened in Napier's first year. He got a California transfer, Nunez, to be the starting quarterback. Levi Lewis was there for his second year. And regardless of what happened, Levi was going in, I believe, every 4th possession. It was a very specific 2-quarterback system. So no matter how well Andre was playing, I think it was Andre Nunez, no matter how well Nunez was playing or how well Levi did, he was coming in and coming out. And I swear 3 times he handed the ball off and they scored 75-yard touchdowns. I believe Raymond Khalid Jr. did it twice. All right. So again, Nunez could be playing brutal. Levi lead him to a touchdown, or Andre could be playing great. And Levi still leads him to a touchdown, but Levi was coming out. Then Levi started the next 3 years, every single ball game. And that's how the Cajuns ended up being really good under Billy Napier, eventually winning the Sun Belt Championship, finishing up that season in Billy's last year at 13-1. So it would be interesting to see if Arrington Maiden, who's got a little bit of experience, he's going into his 3rd year of college football. So that's a little bit, but he doesn't have a whole lot of playing experience just yet. All right, elsewhere, going into JMU, you do have Kevin Roberts, defensive lineman, 6'2", 280. I think it's out of Jacksonville State, JMU. He's going to JMU. Let's see where he was. No, that's West Florida. I'm sorry. Okay. And we do have the glasses here, but that logo is really small. You have Denny Royster. Is he out of UIndy? The only reason I know that logo, yeah, he is because that's where my nephew goes. UIndy is a perennial Division II playoff team. All right. And so you do have Danny Royster, edge rusher, 6'3", 236. So he's a little bit on this, I'm not going to say small, but smaller size. Obviously, he's kind of tall, but he doesn't weigh all that much. That's more like linebacker than edge rusher. So that we're going to have to put a little bit of weight on him. But yeah, it's like, is that the Indianapolis Greyhounds? Seth Cromwell, running back out of Northern Arizona, it appears, and Rasheed Lovelace, defensive lineman, inside 6'3", 310, out of Nichols. All right, so that's the 5 guys so far that is incoming to JMU. And according to 24/7, there hasn't been a whole lot of incoming. Only half the teams have players reported or committed. Georgia State has 16. App State has 13. Old Dominion has 5. Marshall has 4. 24/7 likes Old Dominion's 5 because they're ranked 3rd. Take that for what it's worth in 24/7 transfer rankings. Because usually you do it by a combination of quantity and quality, but they like Old Dominion's quality. Marshall's got 11. James Madison's got 5. Southern Miss 2. And Arkansas State 3. And that's only half the conference. All right. And I don't know if La Tech is being counted in Conference USA or the Sun Belt. Let's see if App State, I think they got a quarterback. I thought they did. They got Henry Hasselback out of UCLA and Malachi Singleton out of Purdue. So they have a couple of quarterbacks. Henry Hasselback is the big one, right? That's a Hasselback, right? Yeah, father's Matt Hasselback. So that's a big get for App State. Georgia State doing a good job officially. What did I said 34. Let me see if the memory serves me right on who Georgia State has incoming and outgoing, because they have 16 commits coming in and they had 34 guys taken off. That's a lot. That's a ton. It's a third of your roster. That's a third of the roster, approximately, or maybe more percentage-wise if those guys are starters, or if they're in the 2 deep, All right, Cajuns keep on putting players out. I thought I saw some players commit to UL, and Zion Chris, a former Cajun, now has gone to Tulane, and they do not have an empty quarterback room. There's like 4 or 5 guys, so he's competing for that. I can't imagine he got a whole lot of money going there, but he got something to go there because he turned down Marshall Faulk at Southern to go to Tulane. So I'm going to guess he could have played at Southern, would have been the starting quarterback at Southern, but wants a chance to compete at Tulane. So you got to respect that a little bit, maybe, I guess. But unfortunately, Zion Chris would be the example of that things not quite working out in the portal. I don't think. I could be wrong. I just was told he didn't get nearly as much as he was promised. Played for a little bit. Wasn't the starting quarterback when he got there, and then got replaced. Yeah. All right. We'll keep an eye on more on the portal as we go into next week. But let's talk a little Sun Belt basketball. Marshall held on. Didn't look like they wanted to win against JMU. And then App State hung on in what was a ugly ball game against Georgia State. We will talk about that next after I tell you about FanDuel. College football playoff is here, and FanDuel is giving all customers even more ways to get in on the action every single game of the playoffs. Because right now, every college football playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost waiting for them in the app. Here's what I love about it. You get to use the profit boost on the bets you already feel good about. Ride with the favorite when you think a team controls the matchup. Take a shot on the underdog if you feel an upset coming. Or build a parlay around the players and moments you think decide the game. Then you apply the profit boost and go after even bigger winnings. And when you win, FanDuel pays out instantly, which is perfect for playoff football. FanDuel is the best place to get in on the action all playoff long. So visit FanDuel.com to get your college football playoff profit boosts every game day. Also, I want to remind you guys, and I should talk about it more, is our every our Everydayer Club, in case you are interested. Thank you for making Locked On Sunbelt your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live Sunbelt throughout, all right? So we do appreciate that. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Sunbelt with no interruptions, members only, and more for all just $5 a month. And if you pay for the year, you get it for $50. As someone who does those type of things, you do save. Go to lockdownsunbelt.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. So you can either get through the ads or pay $5 and skip the ads. It is up to you. Part of the Everydayer Club. All right. We'll do this. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Little basketball, Marshall and JMU. Again, I wondered why JMU, who has not had a good season, although they came up with a nice win against Arkansas State in the last time out, was a favorite against Marshall, even at home. I thought Marshall is playing better. They're the better basketball team. And so I can tell you what I was doing watching the game. It got to be 10 points. And then I had to come over here and record those ads for the SJ2E podcast episode. It's a 10-point game with about 7 minutes to go. Came back after I was done. 2-point game, 51 seconds to go. Am I looking at that right? And then Marshall could not put them away, and JMU could not take advantage. They missed 2 front ends of 1-and-1s, and yet JMU could not get the rebound. Ugh. Then they do hit 2 free throws, makes it a 4-point game. Marshall leads, and JMU comes down and somehow gets an and 1. What are we doing? Stay away. Do not foul. Don't play defense. It's a 4-point ball game. So it's a second and a half left to go. And you have to miss the free throw on purpose, which is exactly what JMU did. And now I would tell you, looking at the replay, JMU fouled the Marshall player who grabbed the rebound. That's what I would tell you. All right. But it ended up back in the hands, I believe, is it Christian Gibson, all right, who ended up with it, and Christian Brown. Okay, Christian Brown. He ended up with it, but he got blocked by, I believe, Matt Van Gorman or Corman. Now, Coach Bradlin for JMU was not happy, but replay showed that it is Matt Van Komen. Okay, Matt Van Komen. He got blocked. All right, that's not even on the official play-by-play. Check it out. It's not on the block is not on there. I don't know if time ran out or what they were doing, but they did not include the block on there. But that's just to show you how difficult it is to win on the road. Marshall was in control of this ball game, up 10, had 2 chances to put it away, needed a third, and then needed a great defensive play to prevent JMU from tying it up. So Marshall comes away with the win. They're 11-5, 3-1 in the Sun Belt. JMU falls to 8-8. They're 1-3 in the Sun Belt. Marshall wins 66-64. The other ball game on Wednesday night was not nearly as close, and that was Arkansas State hammering Troy, and admittedly did not see that one coming. Arkansas State wins 86-74. I'm not sure the game was that close. It was 45-32 at half. 45-32 at half. Arkansas State. The thing is, they were trailing Arkansas State 21-19. They went on a 26-13 run. Holy cow. And then it got worse, I guess. They continued it to begin the second half, 13-6. run to begin the second half. So Troy went from up to 21-19 to down 20. It was a 39-19 run. If I got that right. Yeah. 39 16 run. I got that wrong. Wow. Oh, okay. I did have the math wrong. So 26 to 11 run, and that means overall a 39 to 17 run. Holy cow. That's a nice win for Arkansas State. You don't see Troy get beat like that very often at all. At all. Troy tried to make it a ball game. I don't think they ever got it under 10. Arkansas State made a bunch more free throws, 22 out of 29, made a few more threes. Arkansas State came back down to earth. They were 45%. Troy was only 42%. Troy actually had more points in the paint, but Arkansas State led 86% of the game, and their biggest lead was 20 points. On a Thursday night, and we'll do to the two ball games that are done now, as I won't give you updated scores because they'll be old by the time you see this. App State hangs on to defeat Georgia State 52-50. All right, so while watching Ole Miss and Miami, flipped over to this, and again, my eyes seem to deceive me. With about 4.5 minutes left to go, it was like 43-42. Georgia State. And I was like, is this really? It was like they scored. It was 25-23 at half, and then it was like 19-19 in the second half. I mean, that's an ugly basketball game. I'm sure someone's going to claim good defense. I'm thinking not. All right. They both shot 33% from the floor. App State made 2 more three-pointers. Free throws were not very good either. Georgia State 8 out of 13. App State 6 out of 10. App State dominated on the boards, though. Dominated. 49-33. They grabbed 17 offensive rebounds, but didn't seem to take advantage of that at all. Georgia State led most of this ball game. They led 70% of this ball game, and App State hit a big three in the corner as the difference, to be honest with you, as the difference in the ball game. I think the game was tied, and Georgia State went to zone. It was 4-8 all, and Kaysen Jennings hit a 23-footer in the corner right in front of the App State bench. And Georgia State got it to 51-50. Luke Wilson made 1 of 2 free throws. And to be honest with you, Malachi Brown's, it says 38-foot three-point shot, hit off the front of the rim. That thing was online. But App State comes from behind to defeat Georgia State. Again, App State's interesting, 10-7, 3-2 in the Sun Belt. Georgia State's not going to be quite the pushover that they have been in the past. Though they've lost 2 out of 3, they did beat Coastal handily 89-71. They score a lot of points. Marshall, they lost 84-80. They just beat App State a few weeks ago, 70-63. Seeing a 52-50 ball game is a little bit strange. And the other ball game, Old Dominion goes into Coastal and gets a win. Interesting. In case I didn't say it, App State beats Georgia State 52-50. Old Dominion hangs on 70-66 in Conway. Old Dominion 5-12, 2-3 in the Sun Belt. Coastal Carolina drops to 8-9, 1-4 in the Sun Belt. Doesn't Coastal have kind of an odd win in there? Well, interesting. They beat Old Dominion in Norfolk. So Old Dominion returning the favor. Interesting. Okay. So that's where they are. Coming up on Saturday, the big ball game is, it's on national TV. So I don't know if it is the ball game. You do have Southern Miss taking on Texas State. Not going to say what's going on there. And the Cajuns hosting ULM. All right. Saturday, I guess the big ball game because they're on national TV. South Alabama hosting Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern has won 9 in a row. They have not lost since before Thanksgiving. South Alabama 7-5, coming off a tough loss to Troy last week. They are 2-2 in the Sun Belt. This is a big spot. All of a sudden, South Alabama is going to be 3 games out if they lose this ball game, whereas they can pull within 1 game if they win this one on Saturday at home against Georgia Southern. Cajuns hosting Troy. That's at 1 p.m. By the way, the Georgia Southern South Alabama game, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. Cajuns and Troy, interesting. That's a 1 p.m. Eastern time, noon Central. Yeesh. Does that have to do with football? Is that what we're doing? We're scheduling these games early because of football? Maybe. You got Coastal Carolina hosting App State. UL Monroe at Southern Miss at 3. Texas State is at Arkansas State. James Madison hosting Old Dominion. And Marshall taking on Georgia State. So you got some interesting ball games. Can Marshall go into Georgia State? It seems like a winnable ball game. Marshall could be 4-1. We'll see what Southern Miss does against Texas State tonight. But they're hosting Monroe. They could easily be 5-1. App State going into Coastal Carolina. Can Coastal pull off a win? Can App State move to 4-2? So a lot of good ball games on Saturday. I am working, so we'll try to figure that out going forward, how we can sneak a peek of South Alabama and Georgia Southern. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget about that Everydayer Club. If you are interested, you don't have to deal with the ads. All right. It costs $5. They do say time is money. So you can pay a little bit of money and save some time. Look at it that way. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to Locked On Sunbelt if you haven't already. Don't forget about Apple and Spotify as well. Really appreciate it, you guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend. Be safe. We'll be back again on Monday with a full episode of Locked On Sunbelt. Your teams every day.